well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Oh, what's up, Yankees universe? Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Friday, December 27th, but it's 5 p.m. Grace, how you feeling?
Yeah, it's weird being here at 5 p.m. But yeah, it's great to be here. I'm in a fabulous mood.
Oh, yeah, you are?
I cannot wait to share with y'all why I'm so happy today.
Why you
Although,
happy?
if you've been watching Yankees Morning Brew, you probably already know where I'm going. But I'm so happy. Hector, it's a great day to be talking about the American League champion New York Yankees.
Yes, absolutely. It absolutely is. I want to shout out the chat. First and foremost, we missed you guys. Just know that. I know it was Christmas week this week. So shout out to everybody that shot me a text message. If I didn't answer you, I do apologize. I've just been super busy, been super overwhelmed. But let's do the roll call. Shout out to Jonathan. Jonathan is in the building. The top moderator of all moderators is in the building. Jonathan, how you doing? Our friend Hayden Bear is in the building. Hayden, how you doing? Future's in the building. Our friend Future, how you doing? Ace Avenue is on. Shout out to my guy Ace. If you guys aren't following Ace, make sure you follow Ace. He does an amazing job over there on his channel. Not only talking baseball, but he did a great dive in when it came to that Superman trailer. I suggest you guys watch it if that's something that gets you guys excited. Shout out to Dennis in the building. Dennis DDV is in the building. How you doing? Big time Dennis. We got El Don Sicario in the building. My guy, how you doing? And Brexios Acevedo is in the building. Of course, Grace Monroe is in the building. Hey, y'all. Amo Money is in the building. And, of course, Gilberto Serrano is in the building. Gilberto, how you doing, my guy? Salute to you. And, again, shout out to all you Yankee fans. We did miss you, but some news did break today. Grace Monroe, drum roll, please. And the news is Gleyber Torres, his time with the New York Yankees is over. The up and down relationship, the roller coaster that is Gleyber Torres is over. Gleyber Torres is signing a contract with the Detroit Tigers. It's a 2-year deal, a 1-year contract for this upcoming 2025 season. This is the one thing I want to say about Gleyber Torres, and then I'll toss over to Grace Monroe because I know she's going to drop the elbow from the top row. But
No,
for me,
I'm not.
when it comes to Gleyber Torres, I'm more disappointed knowing the talent that Gleyber Torres had, right? When it came to Gleyber Torres, it was never about talent. It was about putting it all together on the field, whether it was off the field distractions, whether it's him being mature or not. I'm not too sure. I don't like that narrative about Latino players not being mature or they're being lazy. I don't rock with that. But for me personally, I just think he just needed a change of scenery. I think being with the Detroit Tigers is going to help Gleyber Torres tremendously, being outside of the news cycle that is New York sports, right? In New York, the media is 24/7, is worse than any other place in the world to play from when it comes to professional sports. I think Gleyber Torres handled it as best as he can. I thought he was going to be one of the faces of baseball, especially after that season when he hit 38 home runs. 12 of them were against the Orioles, but, that's the story for another day. But again, I wish Gleyber Torres the best. Grace, go ahead. Folks in the chat, let us know how you feel when it comes to Gleyber Torres. And like Manny says, can I get a yurt? Go ahead, Grace.
Okay, so y'all know how happy I am. I'm actually not here to dance on anybody's grave, okay? I wish Gleyber the absolute best, and I really, really mean that. I am very glad that now we know where he's going to be, and all the Yankees fans that were chirping on Twitter and everything else that we need to go get Gleyber Torres back can shut their dirty mouths now because he is contracted with someone else. That's what makes me happy, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't wish anything but happiness for Gleyber. Unfortunately for him, because of the performance that he put in with the Yankees this year in his walk year, he was only able to secure a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
So I am sorry about that. I hope he has a great year in Detroit and he gets a long-term contract with someone for him and his family. I truly wish him the best. He is a nice, wonderful man and person, okay? Yes. But that being said, the Yankees' mission this upcoming season and beyond has been made clear from Brian Cashman and all the upper management that we have to tighten up defense. The Yankees became an absolute laughing stock of baseball and sports in general because of our performance in the World Series when the most eyes were on us. And the Yankees took that personal. And the Yankees said, okay, bet, watch. I'm going to go get a Gold Glove outfielder. I'm going to go get a Gold Glove first baseman. I'm going to move our best outfielder back to his natural position. And they said, okay, bet, we're doing this. And they have made moves to better our defense. Unfortunately for Gleyber, the mission has changed. It used to be bombers, runs, home runs, slug, right? And that was great for Gleyber. But now it's different. We cannot suffer a negative 11 defensive runs saved second baseman anymore. I'm sorry. No. It's not personal, okay? He was the worst fielding second baseman in all of baseball. And it wasn't just 1 year that he was that, okay? So go play with Detroit. You know, they've got a lot of young people on their team. Maybe he'll DH for them a little bit. Like, who knows? You know, and figure that out. I know the Nationals had offered him a third base position and he declined it. I know the market wasn't moving a lot for him, so I'm glad he got something somewhere before spring training, and he can go adjust his game as needed. But I am ready to move on from this. So
same Yankee fans, we are ready. We are ready. First of all, Grace, you surprised me, but I am ready to move on, just like every other Yankee fan is ready to move on. I just want to say one more thing before we switch the topic. I was surprised when I saw that from Washington, and thank you for bringing it up. I forgot to mention it when I gave my take, but seeing that Washington offered him a 1-year contract also, but to play third base was a bit interesting. And if you're Gleyber Torres, like you pointed out, you just came off of a bad season, a couple of bad seasons in a row. You're trying to bring your value back or revitalize whatever value you have in Major League Baseball. And I don't think it benefits Gleyber Torres to go to a team like the Washington Nationals and play a position he never played before when it comes to third base. We saw how he looked at shortstop on that side of the infield. So he probably wasn't confident in himself switching positions on a 1-year deal. Let's see what happens with Detroit. I agree with you. I can see him being like a flex second baseman or a DH, but like Ace just said, good riddance, right? Gleyber, I wish you all the best. Hopefully Gleyber can put it back together and figure it out with the Detroit Tigers. They have a very exciting future, the Detroit Tigers, right? They have a manager in AJ Hinch who's been to the World Series and who has won it with the Houston Astros. So it's interesting to see how the rest of the offseason shapes up for the Detroit Tigers. They're rumored to be the favorite or one of the favorites when it comes to Alex Bregman. So let's see how that plays out. But I think all Yankee fans, we can agree, we wish Gleyber Torres the best. Let's do a little bit of the roll call because we got over 100 people in the building. Shout out to my guy Ghost, mi hermano de la isla. Ghost is in the building. How you doing? We got L.I. Yankee King. The only troll in the Yankee universe I acknowledge is my bestie, L.I. Yankee King. Shout out to you. Like I said, shout out to my brother Ace. Mikey Rock is in the building, 4578. I'll be happy with Arenado, Bregman, Arias, or Bohm, any one of them. I can see more Arenado than anybody else. We'll touch on Arenado in a second. Mikey Rock just wanted to say what up. Alex Almonte, how you doing? Kevin NYC is in the building. Kev, how you doing? And then we got another Kevin. Kevin Rivera is in the building. Sean Browning, how you doing? Boricua Nation is in the building. Mi hermano de la isla, how you doing? Boricua Nation. Again, we got over 100 people in the building rocking out with us. 65 alone on YouTube. If you guys guys can, smack that like button on YouTube. We're sitting at 17 likes. Let's try to get the likes to as close as we can to when it comes to 50 or 100 likes on the stream. When it comes to subscribers, we are sitting at 6,000. We're sitting at 4,692. We are just 8 subscribers away from 4,700. So if you're watching us and if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Besides the Gleyber Torres news, right? I know we got to talk about the rest of the Yankees infield. Before we talk about that, there's a Japanese import that the rumors are starting to get a little, not, I want to say rumors, but the market is starting to not dry up, but it's starting to heat up when it comes to Roki Sasaki. The January 15th deadline is literally just a couple of weeks, 2.5 weeks away, when next week is the start of the new year. So Roki Sasaki watch is starting over here at Uptown Sports TV. We got to talk about it. When it comes to Roki Sasaki, this is a young man that he is going the non-traditional route, the same way that Shohei Ohtani came over. This is a young man that he threw a perfect game in Japan, one of the first perfect games in like 23, 24 years. This is a young man who has a fastball that touches anywhere from 103 to 104 miles per hour. He has the potential to be lights out if he's healthy at the major league level. But the key is if he is healthy, right? Jim Bowden, I got an excerpt from an article that Jim Bowden put out. And this is a great thing to point out, right? His velocity this past season, it was down 2.7 miles per hour this past year, right? Jim Bowden said he was told that it's more about learning how to pitch than anything else. However, he was dealing with multiple injuries. He had an oblique issue and he had a shoulder fatigue as well during the season. So the velocity falling down was more of him trying to control his fastball and not just throw it there, trying to just throw 105 miles per hour. This is a guy that when he was a teenager was throwing 103 effortlessly. When it comes to Roki Sasaki, one thing I want to mention to everybody, especially to my guy LI Yankee King, is that Roki Sasaki, he has only come close to 130 innings once since he's been in the big leagues over there in Japan, right? One season with 129 innings, one season with 91 innings, and then this past year was 110 innings, right? 111 innings. So if he comes over, Roki Sasaki is going to be on an extreme innings limit. And if you're the Yankees, right, you have Garrett Cole, you have Max Fried, you have Luis Hill at the top of your rotation as 1, 2, 3. When it comes to Roki Sasaki, you potentially could slot him in as a 4th or 5th starter, right? If there's a team that's trying to sign Sasaki and immediately want him to be the ace of the staff, that's a bad landing spot for Roki Sasaki. He has to be able to land in a perfect situation where he could be the 4th or 5th starter going every 6 days, so his innings could be limited, so he doesn't maximize, he doesn't wear out his arm, and he's not injured by the time halfway during the season. You like that, Grace? You like that pitch right there?
Yeah,
you like that?
We got to get you in the room, Hector.
But I just want to say, with all my optimism as a Yankee fan, will I love Roki Sasaki to land in the Bronx and wear pinstripes? Absolutely. Would I love Roki Sasaki to be the future ace of the New York Yankees, like my guy LI Yankee King said? Absolutely. But the reality is, when you look at the tiers of teams that can offer him the most when it comes to international free agent money, the Yankees and the Padres are literally tied for like 5 million, 6 million, whatever it is. We have the Yankees and Padres, they have more money than the Dodgers. The Dodgers are at like 5.2. The Yankees and Padres are at 6 to 6.5, around there. The teams with the most are like the Colorado Rockies, which is weird as fuck. I don't think he'll be going over to Colorado at all, right? But if I had to put money down, Grace, last year we got burned with Yamamoto, thinking that Yamamoto was going to be a Yankee, right? I ate the crow as well, egg on my face, because I thought Yamamoto was going to be a Yankee. If I have to put money down, I would say that I think he will go to the San Diego Padres or the Seattle Mariners. Those are the two teams that I have ahead of the New York Yankees, or even the New York Mets. You know, you throw them into the conversation, because I know the Yankees, they had their meeting. I see reports on December 25th on Christmas. I'm not sure how real that is, but Grace, I'm going to toss it over to you. Folks in the chat, let us know what's your thoughts when it comes to Roki Sasaki. Shout out to Ronnie Green in the chat as well. Go ahead. And Theo Nosebleed section with the ho, ho, ho. Go ahead, Nosebleed.
I told you last time, and I'm starting to warm to the idea that he might actually be considering coming to the Yankees. But before this, I just put him out of my mind. I just assumed there's no way we're getting Roki Sasaki because everybody was saying that he was going to go to the West Coast and that he likes the West Coast and, you know, all of this stuff. And so I just put him out of my mind. I didn't even put him on my Christmas wish list. I haven't even like hung any hopes on it because I didn't want to get let down. Like you said, like like we all did on Yamamoto. But I think you make a really good point, and I think that I'm starting to feel like we might actually have a shot because I heard that the Phillies tried to have a meeting with him and he turned them down. So he's not meeting because people, I think it was on the Michael K. I don't want to say that it was if it wasn't. I can't remember what show it was. They were saying, oh, he's going to meet with everybody. He's going to meet with everybody. And that is not the case. No. He has been very selective about who he's met with. And so I'm starting to feel like we might actually have more of a shot than I originally thought. Now, I'm still not going to say, yeah, I feel like he's coming here or anything. But hey, we're still in the hunt. So it could happen. And if it does, oh my God, this offseason will absolutely go to an A. Yeah. And maybe an A+. I mean, this offseason, talk about defense. Like I was saying about the Gleyber thing. Talk about a total change in philosophy that the Yankees will have pulled off. Brian Cashman will have pulled off if he lands Roki Sasaki. I can't wait to find out.
I'm with you, Grace, right? And again, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. We got over 150 people watching us. 90 of you beautiful people are on YouTube. So if you guys can, smack that like button. Let me put the banner on the bottom so you know to smack the like button and hit that subscribe button. But no, when it comes, like the same way I just mentioned it, somebody just in the chat brought it up. The same way how I mentioned the perfect landing spot could be in the 4th or 5th spot behind Cole, Rodon, and Max Fried. When you look at the Seattle Mariners, they have a better version of that. Right? On paper, the Yankees, if healthy, potentially can have the best starting rotation in the American League. On paper, if people are healthy. But when you look at the Seattle Mariners, when you look at Logan Gilbert as your number one, then you got George Kirby, you got Bryce Miller, Brian Wu, who I think has filthy stuff if he could put it all together. And then you have Luis Castillo as your 5th starter, the guy that they're trying to trade right now. So, and yes, that perfect scenario that I laid out for the Yankees, it's an even better scenario with the Seattle Mariners. And the Seattle Mariners, they have a pitching philosophy, a pitching factory over there that they can work with Roki Sasaki when it comes to tunneling his fastball a lot better. Because when you look at it, his issues are his fastball is just a flat plane fastball. Yes, it's 103 to 105 miles per hour, but his fastball is just fat and just go straight. If he goes to an organization that can help him tunnel his fastball more, add some movement to his fastball, he has the potential to have lights out stuff at the major league level. When you look at his splitter, a traditional splitter, it has the 12-6 drop. Like if this is a clock or whatever, a 12-6 drop, just like a curveball. But when it comes to Roki's splitter, he has the only splitter that not only does it drop 12-6, but it cuts to the side as well. No other pitcher in the world has been able to throw a splitter like that. So he has to find the perfect landing spot. And if I'm putting money on it, Seattle will be the best spot to land, but he has his connections with the Padres, and that's because of Yu Darvish. So as much as I would love to dream of him to be a Yankee, Grace, I don't see the reality. If it happens, pinch me, call me stupid. I don't know.
Well, I would put Matt Blake out there with any pitching lab in Major League Baseball. I mean, the chance to work with Matt Blake to hone your skills. True. I know he will have talked to Tanaka. I know Tanaka was before Matt Blake, but he knows him now, and he will be able to tell him his experience with the Yankees. The highest paid free agent of all time in all of professional sports just got paid because he played with the Yankees. And I mean, there are a lot of things that make the Yankees look attractive. We just went to the World Series. He could plug right into our rotation. I don't think there's a pitcher in our rotation that does what Roki does. We don't have a lot of throwers. We have a lot of agility style pitchers, you know, outsmarting the batter. And we don't have a lot of guys that just throw straight heat, you know, like 100. We don't have anybody who throws 102, 100, you know. So I think that, it could be a really, like you said, a really attractive landing spot for him. Good for him. He's going to have his choice of places to go. I think it works to our advantage also that we met him in California and he didn't come to New York when it's cold as shit.
True.
Because I remember last year when Yamamoto came up to New York and it was the worst weather. It was like drizzly and rainy.
It was disgusting.
And cold.
It was
so
disgusting.
gross.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, no, don't let him come." And everybody thought, "Oh, Grace, who cares about the weather?" And then what happened? Later, the report came out, and I was like, "What'd I say?"
Yeah.
What did I say?
It was a disgusting day in New York.
It's better. It's better for us to go to him and show him a picture of New York. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait for him to make his decision. I think that it's holding up a lot of the market as well.
It is holding up the market, Grace, because when you look at it, right, when you look at the free agents that are still out there, especially the big ones, the Corbin Burns of the world, these are all guys that are attached to qualifying offers, right? And what's attached to qualifying offers? International signing money and draft picks. All of the teams that are in on Roki Sasaki are still teams that are in on Corbin Burns, that are in on Alex Bregman. So they want to see what happens with Roki first before they give out a contract to any one of these players. Now, you have a guy like Christian Walker who's attached to a qualifying offer as well. But you saw a team come in and swoop him off their feet, right? So it just depends on if the team wants to go out there and secure their free agent, or if the player's like, you know what, it's before Christmas. I just want to sign this and get this over with. I got to move my family from one city to the other. I want to just get this done with, right? So you have certain players that have different priorities. I agree with you 100%, Grace, on that. I saw some chats I want to bring up. Shout out to Carlos Ortiz, who was in the building, who says it's cold in Japan this time of the year as well. 100%. Jay Snow is in the building. They need to find a team to take Stroman because we're looking at Peraza and a DJ platoon. I'm gonna just star that right there because I've been working on some potential trades in my head. People gonna either call me a genius or gonna say, Hector, stop hanging out with LI Yankee King. One of the two. It's gonna be one of the two, right? Shout out to Blaze in the building, who says the Red Sox fans will argue that they have a better rotation, right? Bueller is better than Rodon. Bella is better than Hill. I'm not sure about that. Cutter Crawford is better than Clark Smith, right? But you still got Garrett Cole and Max Fried at the top of the rotation. So I would still put the money on the Yankees. But again, if they are healthy, and that's just like the Red Sox, if the Red Sox can stay healthy, they can have a top-notch rotation in the American League as well. Shout out my guy Manny Morales, who says Matt Blake is an off-speed pitching guru, pitching machine. Can't deny that right there. Mikey Rock said if we could land Sasaki, Smith will be an easy trade bait. Smith, Luis Hill, there could be a lot of trade candidates for the New York Yankees. But I want to switch gears because now that we know Gleyber Torres is off the market, right? The nightmare scenario of Gleyber Torres coming back is done. So Grace,
now that Grace
don't have to worry about that.
Again.
Now Grace can sleep happily. She can sleep easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like again, we got over 170 people in the building watching it, over 100 on YouTube. We're sitting on 40 likes. If you guys can, smack that like button, help us out, and hit that subscribe button. But when it comes to the rest of the Yankees off season, as they say, right? I know we got Fernando Cruz, solid reliever from the Cincinnati Reds. We traded Jose Trevino. Jose Trevino, our amigo, is gone to Cincinnati. Jose, I wish you all the best. But for me, from the New York Yankees, I'm calling up the Minnesota Twins. And no, it's not to trade for Carlos Correa. I saw a lot of Yankee fans talking about that. He's injury prone. If we could send them Marcus Stroman and DJ LeMahieu and get back Carlos Correa, maybe we could have a conversation. But the one player I want from the Minnesota Twins on the New York Yankees, they have a crowded infield right now. Reports came out on MLB Trade Rumors that the Minnesota Twins are looking to trade players from their infield. Not sure how many teams are going to be calling about Carlos Correa, but one player I want the New York Yankees to trade for is their third baseman named Jose Miranda. Jose Miranda last year, I'll pull up his stats. Jose Miranda was a guy that he had shoulder surgery to end 2023, and he had a nice bounce back season last year. When we look at Jose Miranda, he hit 284 last year. I'm going to pull up all of his numbers right now. Hold on. I'm going to share it on screen just so we can all see it at the same time, because that's what we do. We share our stats on the screen. So when you look at Jose Miranda this past season, he played in 121 games, like I said, coming back from shoulder surgery, and 121 games, 429 at-bats. He was a 284 hitter. He had 9 home runs, 49 RBIs. When you look at his strikeout numbers, only 66 times he struck out in 121 games. That's a solid percentage. When you look at his on-base percentage was 322. His slugging was 441, and then you look at his OPS plus 763. You get a guy like Jose Miranda. Jose Miranda is on contract. He's team friendly or team control over the next 3 years. He's making $800K right now. If you're Brian Cashman, you call up the Minnesota Twins and you do whatever you can to trade for Jose Miranda. This is a young Boricua who has ties to the city. He is the cousin of Lin-Manuel Miranda. If you guys know who that is, you know who that is. But that's a guy that I've been wanting the Yankees to get for a while. And now that we have this hole at third base, and now that Minnesota, they have some pieces that they're moving around, they're looking to either trade Jose Miranda or move Jose Miranda to first base, right? And I think his glove, when you look at his defensive metrics, he would give you better than whatever defense we got out of last year at third base. You could trade for Jose Miranda, put him at third base, move Jazz Chisholm to second. I think that's a solid offseason for the New York Yankees. You have a guy who's cheap and on control for the next 3 to 4 years, making $800K right now. Like I said, he was a 284 hitter last year. When you look at his other stats, he did knock 20 home runs a couple of seasons ago before he had his shoulder surgery. Grace, what's your thoughts about that?
What's his outs above average? I'm trying to look it up right now.
His outs above average? I got you right now.
Okay. I looked up his defensive runs saved, and he had 1, which is above average with 1. It's not like amazing. We had 3 from Jazz last year. We had 3. But go ahead.
No, I was going to say he's not going to win you any gold gloves at third base, but he is a major league average third baseman who has the potential to move to first base if you have him moving to first base. Like I said, what excites me about him is his square up percentage. He's in the 83 percentage, and look on Baseball Savant. I'll pull his Baseball Savant up right now so you guys can see it. When you look at his batting, when you look at his square up percentage, 83% right on the screen. His strikeout rate, he doesn't strike out as much. He doesn't whiff as much as well. His chase rate is a bit high, but when you look at the other metrics, I think that is solid. When you look at his fielding, his outs above average are -7, and his arm strength is at 81.
Okay. Well, okay. So it'll be more for the offense, So, okay. You know what? That's interesting. I do remember playing him, and I remember him.
Like I said,
being really energetic.
He is bad defensively, but he's still going to be better than what the fuck we got out of third base last year. Sorry to curse.
I remember him having a lot of energy. I remember him having pop, and having in his bat. But yeah, that's interesting. I have not heard anyone mention his name, for like a possible trade solution for us. So that's very an interesting name to bring up, Hector.
And my guy PTY says, why would they trade their cheapest infielder? Unless they have a team that's willing to trade for Carlos Correa's contract. They have multiple prospects that are coming up. There's a report from MLB Trade Rumors from the Minnesota Twins that they're looking to trade and move pieces around. That's why they didn't sign Carlos Santana. They let him walk in free agency. They're planning on either trading Jose Miranda or moving him to first base. And if they're willing to move him to first base, if they're willing to trade him or move him, why can't the Yankees just call and see what they want from him?
I thought the Jazz was good at third base. Good, not great. Now, it was his first time ever playing that position. And if you consider that, he did a great job, but I like the idea of moving Jazz to second, using his speed and kind of range and his
natural
ability.
Position he came up.
Exactly. Natural position that he came up in. He's comfortable there. The idea of Jazz and Volpe up the middle is juicy to me. I mean, that is a solid middle infield. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now we got the corner. And we haven't had a pod since we got Goldschmidt, by the way.
Oh, we forgot to
Yeah,
talk about
we
Goldie.
haven't talked
Oh,
about
you didn't even
Goldie.
talk about Goldie.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
So we got Goldie now at first base, who's gonna lock it down defensively over there. So now we just have a third base hole, right? If we all agree to move Jazz to second, and I think that is what they're leaning toward. And the kind of chatter is that they're going to right now. Now this could be posturing because they could be working on a trade we don't know about, but the chatter is that it's going to be DJ versus Oswaldo in spring training and see who does better, and that's going to be third base. So,
no, I'm sorry.
That's the
I'm sorry.
We
We have to go into the season with an actual major league third baseman.
Oh.
If we go into spring training, and this is a message for the Yankees front office, not for Grace, not for you guys in the chat, for the Yankees front office. If we go into this season, into spring training with you know what, we're gonna have a competition approach. No, after losing Juan Soto, and you're saying we're trying to bounce back and reshape this team, you need to go into spring training with an actual third baseman at the major league level, somebody who could play third base, not a competition. Let's see what happens. Throw the scraps out there, and whoever wins the job is who wins the job. No, absolutely not. If I'm the Yankee fans, if you guys don't like the Jose Miranda trade, I like Willie Castro, right? My guy LB in the chat. Shout out to LB who said Willie Castro. But if that's the case, if you guys want to trade for Carlos Correa and have him be your third baseman because he is getting up there in age, his body is bulking just a little bit, he's eating too much good mofongo and stuff, you can move his ass to third base. I'm sending DJ LeMahieu and Marcus Stroman contract to Minnesota. We bring back Carlos Correa and we give them a top 15 prospect if they want a top 15 prospect, just so we could get off of that dead money. That's the only way I'm making that happen, and that's the only way I think Brian Cashman would make that happen. If you could get off of those two dead contracts and not just eat 30 million, because what's he making, like 30 million or something like that? Yeah,
a lot. And it's an albatross contract. I think that I hate Carlos Correa for 2017, and I don't give up. Remember that song?
Carlos Correa is making 37 million this season, 32 and 31. No, I got that.
Okay, you remember that song? Anyway, I don't care that it was 7 years ago or whatever. I'm still mad about it. I will continue to be mad about it, and I'm not getting over it. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, that being said, I think that Carlos Correa is so talented, and especially in the postseason, that I might be able to get over it. I'm not saying I want him, because I will never say that. But if he were to end up on my team, the New York Yankees, I would figure out a way to deal with it, and then I would really enjoy winning a lot of games. So with that being said, I'm not going to say I want him. However, if that happened, I feel like it would make our team really dangerous. He's a villain type, not a villain as a person. I'm sure he's a very nice person, but his persona in baseball is a villain type. He gets booed everywhere he goes for what he did in 2017, as he should. And I would boo him too. Unless he was wearing pinstripes, then I would enjoy winning a lot of games. But I'm out on Arenado. I know a lot of people want Arenado. I don't want to touch that. I would rather, I just have a feeling. I know he's not old. I know, he's still, I just don't think that it's a good idea. I really am getting Josh Donaldson vibes from him, and not as a person, but as production wise from the hot corner. And I don't want to get in with another contract that's a multiple year aging player with a defensive and offensive decline, and we're getting the last year's of contract. Like, I'm out on Arenado. I'm out on him. It's my personal opinion.
I see what you're saying, right? And I do get the Josh Donaldson red flags, right? My only counter to that, when you look at Josh Donaldson's last season with Minnesota, before coming over to the Yankees, you saw the massive decline when it comes to his batting average, his strikeouts, his walk rate, his home runs. When you look at, and defensively as well, when you look at Arenado, the only thing that has really plunged has been his power, right? He was a 300 hitter last year. His strikeout rate was still a solid strikeout percentage. When you look at his fielding rate, he is still a Gold Glove defender at the hot corner. His money scares me because he's making about 20 million this season, but then it drops down to like 14 or whatever it is the next couple of seasons. If I had to choose, who would I rather have? Because if it comes down to either Bregman or Arenado, I would rather go with Arenado because his deal would just be for 3 years. Bregman's would be for 6 or 8 years.
That's
so we're
true.
stuck. We will be stuck with Arenado for 3 years, making significantly less money than what Bregman will be making. And if we're able to, cool. The St. Louis Cardinals already said no to Marcus Stroman. Okay, you could take DJ LeMahieu then, because we have to be able to counter some of this money. Yes, we're willing to. Yes, we'll help you with Arenado. He has a no trade clause. You have to eat some of this dead money coming your way. Either DJ LeMahieu or Marcus Stroman. But if I had to choose, if gun to my head, Bregman or Arenado, I would rather go with Arenado because it's less years and for, like I said, significantly less money.
If Cashman is willing to make that a deal with the Cardinals for Arenado, and he already tried and they declined it, he might be playing the waiting game with them because there's only so many places he'll go, right? We know that he literally rejected a deal to go to the Astros just last week. And the Cardinals want to get rid of him, and it's been they've been very open about that. They want to get rid of him. There's only a few places.
And it's not bad blood. It's just they want to be able to get him to a place where he can compete for a championship.
Okay, sure. And they want to stop paying him, right? There's also the money. But yes, I'm sure we all want world peace. But if they could work a deal out, Cashman will wait, and he'll say stuff like on the hot stove with Jack Curry, like, "Oh, the Yankees are out on Arenado," until they're not. Like Cashman is always working an angle, like, "Oh yeah, we're out on Arenado," and then the Cardinals start to sweat. The closer the season gets, we still have him. Where can we send him? He'll only go to these few teams. Well, Cashman was interested. Let's call him back. Let's take him for Stroman, or let's eat some money or whatever they have to do. If they want to move him, they will move him. They can move him and will move him. He's been one of the best players in the league for years. No, I'm not disrespecting him. I just don't. I don't want him on the Yankees. I call me crazy. I can't.
No,
what I like about go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say I can see the reserves. Trust me, I do get it.
What I like about the Paul Goldschmidt deal, and I wasn't looking for him either, but when it came through and I saw it was only 1 year, I was like, yes, I can get down with that. 1 year. And then your boy Santana signed for Santana, right?
Carlos Santana.
Okay. He signed for almost the same amount of money, where we were all talking about, oh, he'll be so cheap, and let's take the cheap option. No, he signed for 12.5.
Yeah, he signed that basically the same amount of money.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, if you're presenting me with these two choices, you got Santana for 12.5 or Paul Goldschmidt for 12, both of them for 1 year. If you're the Yankees, I would take Goldschmidt in that scenario. So I'm actually happy with the acquisition there, or with the free.
But for me, with Goldschmidt being a 1 year deal, I don't mind entertaining 3 years of Nolan Arenado because we got Goldschmidt on 1 year, right? And when you look at Nolan Arenado, this is a guy who also said he's willing to move positions, right? So he's willing to move to first base if he has to. So it could be a scenario next year that if the Yankees, we hit free agency, if Cody Bellinger decides to opt out and he doesn't come back with the Yankees, or if the Yankees have to move pieces around, if a third baseman becomes available, you can move Nolan Arenado to first base, get yourself a third baseman of the future, or you could just use all Nolan Arenado as a stopgap. One thing that I like to bring up to people when it comes to the New York Yankees, a big part of the late 90s, that dynasty team, right? A good part of it. Yes, we had a lot of young players. Yes, we had the core five with Jeter and Pettit and Mariano. We had Posada later in the 90s and Bernie. Yes, we had that. But another big part of the Yankees what drove the Yankees in that era was veterans that were maybe past their prime, but they still had something left in the tank. And Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, to me, reminds me of that essence of the New York Yankees from the 90s. You're bringing in two guys that, yes, they may be past their MVP all-star prime, but they still have some juice left in the tank, and they just want to be in winning environments to squeeze as much of that juice out of them. And when you look at both of them, nobody has ever said Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado aren't hustlers. They aren't gamers. Those are guys that they're going to hustle 162 games. They are going to leave everything out there on the field. And I think when you move Paul Goldschmidt from St. Louis to the Yankees, I think his numbers are going to go up just like Nolan Arenado. And one thing I want to point when it comes to Nolan Arenado, I was a mistake. His batting average for the season was 272. This is where I was mistaken. His average with runners in scoring position was 315. That's how you know a player locks in the moments. When we traded for Jazz Chisholm, everybody pointed, oh, look at his batting average, 230, 240 or whatever. He was a 300 hitter with runnings in scoring position with the Miami Marlins. So it's the same thing with Arenado and with Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt, to finish the season, the last month of the season, he was a 330 hitter. Right, the second half of the season, he was a 295 hitter. I'm 297. Last year against left-handed pitching, he mashed like 292, 295, and that's what the Yankees needed. We needed batters who can kill left-handed pitching because that's something outside of Judge and Soto we weren't able to do.
Y'all, can we please walk a little down memory lane, which was like 2 months ago or something, when we sent out in the postseason a bench player who was returning off of injury and had never played first base before in his life to play first base. When we sent John Birdie out there and said, you know what? Good luck, figure it out. It's just the postseason. You'll be fine. You've never played first base before. Go ahead. I mean, when you get a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, you know, he plays the majority of the year.
I'm sorry, Greg. Somebody just put in the chat. Greg Gumbel passed away. Famous American, like a broadcaster, worked on the NFL, CBS, March Madness. Passed away at 78 years old. Thank you for putting it in the chat, Mac Miles. Folks in the chat, just throw the prayer emoji in the chat. For Greg Gumbel and his family. Jesus Christ, I grew up with watching him on CBS Sports, watching him every Sunday for football in high school. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Grace, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, what am I supposed to say now?
I apologize. I'm so sorry for cutting you off. Sorry.
No, it's not that. I'm sorry. Prayers for his family. It's terrible. He'll be missed. He affected a lot of us, right? Anyway, I was just saying that when you get a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, you got an anchor. You're going to have an anchor at first base, and that's great to have. I think what the Yankee, now I've said like over and over today, I made the point that we've made so many strides for defense. We've really tightened up the defense all over the field, okay? We need some offense now, okay? The lineup is not line-upping like it needs to quite yet.
Not yet.
We need some more. We need another stick, okay? I know that we want to be, but beggars can't be choosers, right? You're looking at the market of what you can get. You're looking at maybe talking somebody into a trade, but you got to figure out with what we have to work with, how can we add some runs? How can we add some pop? How can we add some offense to this squad? And the position we have left open right now is third base. So as far as I'm concerned, the outfield is set. You got Judge, Dominguez, and Bellinger.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. So we have third base open, possibly second base, right? That's where we got to add another stick. Whatever stick you want. That's not Nolan Arenado to me. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm not trying to be mean to him.
No.
I don't know who it is. I don't know what trades are on the table or what Cashman can do, but I need some offense. And I'm willing to settle for a little bit less defense on one spot on the field to get some more offense. Not too much, no offense, not Gleyber Torres amount, okay? But a little bit less. So whoever that is, that's who I want.
Two-part question going your way. And folks in the chat, this is for you as well. Let us know. Appreciate everybody putting in the prayers emoji. Shout out to Seth Stone in the building, Chris Perez, Carlos Ochi, Joey Salcedo's in the building. Shout out to Joey Sauce, Paul, Knicks fan. How you doing? Mikey Rocks. Appreciate all of you guys. Again, we got over 200 people. We're sitting on 51 likes. We got 130 people on the YouTube chat. Folks in the chat, just smack that like button. Shout out to Space in the building as well. I do see Yankees possibly trying for Brandon Donovan or Brandon Lowe. Those are two guys that Yankee fans, especially Brandon Donovan, have been craving to be in the Bronx. But two-part question going your way, Grace. The first part is an easy yes or no. When it comes to the possibility of having a platoon of DJ LeMahieu and Oswaldo Cabrera, what would you rather have? The Yankees going into spring training with those two guys trying to battle it out for the third base job, or the Yankees making a trade for Nolan Arenado? Which one would you be more okay with?
That's tough because
you got option C, being you don't want to answer the question.
Yeah, that's it. I love Oswaldo Cabrera.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that they would just, if it's going to be whoever does better, I wish they would just have faith in him and give him some confidence and some credit for what he's done, and say, Oswaldo, we're going to try you out at third base starting in spring training. And then if he doesn't do well, that's his audition. Don't make him audition with DJ LeMahieu, ancient, broken. I'm sorry, I loved DJ. No offense, but Father Time has not been kind to this man. Multiple injuries has not been kind to this man. Don't make Oswaldo go out there and fight. That's insulting to make Oswaldo go out there and compete against this guy, in my opinion. Now, do I want Oswaldo playing third base opening day? No. But if there's nobody else, then yeah, sure, give him a shot. Would Arenado be better than Oswaldo Cabrera? Yeah, probably this year, maybe not next year, maybe not the year after that. I don't know. I just hesitate to get in bed with that contract when he's so reluctant to be traded and so, unhappy and so vocal about where he will and won't want to go and playing. And I don't know. I get the bad vibe. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is.
No, listen, and I listen, I respect it. It's not like a back and forth, just so people understand. And for the context, when it comes to Arenado's contract, he makes $21 million this upcoming season at year 34. He makes $16 million next year and $15 million the year after. For me, when it comes to Oswaldo Cabrera, I believe Oswaldo is great at doing what Oswaldo does, and that's being that flexible guy who could play multiple position, pinch run if I have to. If I have to fill in on a day, I'm going to give you 4 significantly great at bats. I'm going to battle. I'm going to hustle, and I'm going to do everything I can to help this team wins. I think that's what Oswaldo does great. I think if you tell Oswaldo you have a permanent position for the next 162 games, I think you're taking away what makes Oswaldo so great, and it's his versatility and the ability to be your Swiss Army knife. I call him that all the time. Every time I see him, the Yankees Swiss Army knife, right? You're taking that ability away for him, and I think that's the best asset that he brings to the team. It's like Ronald Torres with the New York Yankees a few years ago. We saw what he gave you off the bench, that energy he gave you, that spark plug. He was able to play multiple positions. He plays super hard. He's not a guy that that could just play a regular position for 162 games because his flaws get exposed. And I think with Oswaldo, it's not more of his flaws. I think he does so much. He does better at just being that flexible guy that you could plug in and out instead of just being an everyday major league player. If you understand what I'm saying.
I totally understand. And I hear you. And I don't disagree. But if you're asking me, is it Oswaldo Cabrera or Nolan Arenado with the contract and everything else that comes with him? I would rather ride with Oswaldo, at least for now. Maybe trade for somebody in season. Maybe figure out what you got. Just see how it goes. That's just me, because I just don't want Arenado. Now, if you're asking me Carlos Correa, you're asking me Yandy Diaz, you're asking me Miranda, you're asking me all those other things, like maybe that would be a different conversation.
Yeah.
But for me, and I do agree that the versatility is what makes Oswaldo so special, and I love him. But and I don't want to lock him down in an everyday position. But if that's the situation we're in, and it's either that or get into bed with a athlete who has an attitude and an aging contract, and the team that he has can't wait to get rid of him, and I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean?
I definitely I don't see it as, and again, it's maybe I'm reading the articles wrong or whatever with the whole like St. Louis and Arenado thing. I took it as it's a mutual separation from both parties. When he signed and he re-upped his contract with the St. Louis Cardinals, he left money on the table. I think it was about like 50 million or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Folks in the chat, help me out. So I think when it comes to their situation, it's not he's frustrated with the organization and the organization is frustrated with him. He's willing. He's been out there like, yo, I just want to compete and play with a contender. If you guys are going to do your reboot or your whole process of refarming and retooling, you could trade me to some other team that's going to put me in a position to win. So I think it's a mutual separation from both parties. I don't think it's the Cardinals having animosity towards Nolan Arenado, and I don't think it's the Nolan Arenado having animosity towards the Cardinals. I think who Nolan Arenado had animosity towards were the Colorado Rockies. That's who he had animosity towards in the whole situation.
When I said they couldn't wait to get rid of him, I meant the money. They couldn't wait to get rid of the money. And the attitude was because he refused to go to the Astros and he only wants to go certain places, which is his right. That's what he negotiated in his contract.
He don't like the cheating thing that the Astros did. That's why he doesn't want to go to Detroit with AJ Hinch. He doesn't like AJ Hinch.
Well, now you're making me like him a lot more.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He would be the perfect guy when you look at, like, he hates the fucking Houston Astros. He doesn't want to play for the Houston Astros. And also with his contract, and help me in the chat as well. I wish Jacob was here because Jacob knows it. And shout out to Jonathan pointing out the 60 likes. Yes, we're sitting on 60 likes, and we do have over 150 people rocking out with us. The one thing that I know when it comes to Arenado and his contract is just like Giancarlo Stanton's contract. You see how after this year, the Marlins, they start eating a portion of his contract. And I think that's what happens next year after this upcoming season, because this season he's making 21. And then next year it's 16 million. And I think the Rockies or the Cardinals, they have to pay a portion of that. So the Yankees wouldn't be paying his full-time contract is what is my purpose of that one.
It's so hard to play GM because it's always a risk and you're held responsible for what happens, and you can't control the player, right? Once you acquire him, you just hope he plays and does well, but you're held responsible for his performance. But it's possible that Arenado, a guy who is such a gamer, such an elite athlete, 10 gold gloves, has been disenchanted with losing and a team that doesn't make the right moves, and he would be energized to come to a place where we just went to the World Series last year. We intend to go to the World Series again. We're stacking the rotation. We're making moves. Come over here and, get on the bus because we're going. We're already going 55 miles an hour. We're heading to 60, and it could re-energize him. But you don't know that. It's a risk. Could pay off.
Yeah.
Could be a disaster,
Yeah.
So.
And again, I see people bringing up the Josh Donaldson thing, right? The thing that I'm having a hard time with accepting that framework of argument is that Josh Donaldson had all his money guaranteed on his contract. Josh Donaldson was making $30 million, and Josh Donaldson also was a guy that nobody in Major League Baseball could fucking stand Josh Donaldson. There was nobody in baseball that could stand Josh Donaldson. At least with Nolan Arenado, at least if he was to come over here to the Yankees, he'll be coming over to a team with a guy in Paul Goldschmidt that he has a great relationship with. And Paul Goldschmidt, Aaron Judge, and Nolan Arenado all worked together during the offseason for some years in a row, right? When Aaron Judge was trying to switch up his two-strike approach, the guys that he called was Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, so they could help him with his two-strike approach. And, it didn't help him in spring training, but look at his past year. He had his lowest strikeout rate of his entire career, right? So I do see, like, a possibility. Am I sold on it? No, right? Because I do have my reservation because he is up there in age. We want to get younger. But with Nolan Arenado, I think he's just one of those guys that, yes, he's 33 years old, but he's an aging. He aged well for a 33-year-old. This isn't a guy that he has a track record of missing 50, 60 games every season. And again, everybody has that different cup of tea. I just look at, if I had to look at the third base market, as much as I would love to trade for Jace Young from am I saying his name right? From the Texas. Yeah. As much as I would love to make that trade happen, I don't think the Texas Rangers would do that, right? As much as I would love for the Yankees to trade for Jose Miranda, I'm not sure if the Minnesota Twins would trade him if they have to trade.
I want Jose Ramirez.
Listen, that's a guy that I've been wanting for years, but I'm not sure if the Guardians are going to hit that reset button and
Hector,
start. And,
did you see the tweet that I sent out after they traded away? Oh my God.
Josh Naylor. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, Grace is stirring up some mess. Shout out to my guy Guillermo in the building, Legion of Knicks podcast. How you doing? Shout out to my guy Guillermo right here. He is a diehard Met fan. Even though he's a Met fan, he's still safe over here in our corridor of the internet. Shout out to my guy Gmo. My fault, Grace. Go ahead.
I said, in case y'all don't know, in case y'all don't follow me on Twitter, after Naylor was traded, I said something like, well, now that Naylor's gone, oh my gosh, do you think Jose Ramirez is mad enough to request a trade? And everybody was like, oh, that's not going to happen. And I'm like, I know. This is my dream world. But he was vocally upset that the Guardians have been dismantling the team, letting people go, trading people away, and he's been vocal about it. So there was some substantiation there. But yeah, in my dreams, we would get Jose Ramirez. Could you hold on, you guys? This is completely pointless, but anyway, we're just here talking Yankees in December, and so anyway, let's just have some fun. Everyone just imagine for a minute how amazing it would be to have Jose Ramirez at the third base for the New York Yankees with his bat, his base running skills. I mean, are you serious? Just go there with me. Imagine the lineup with J-Ram.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen, Grace, I would love it. I would love it, but reality, why would the Cleveland Guardians trade a guy? This is a guy that he left like $100 million on the table. He has no trade clause. His team, his family loves it in Cleveland. He is the mayor of Cleveland. I would love Jose Ramirez. I don't think that would happen though. Shout out to Chat as well. Cheesy Soul Cakes is in the building. My guy Cheesy Soul Cakes. Hi. This is another Met fan in our chat that I love. So it's like, besides my mother is Cheesy Soul Cakes and my guy Guillermo from Legion of Knicks, right? He said, who is replacing Gleyber? No troll, legit asking. We was having a conversation earlier. I think when it comes down to it, the Yankees are going to move Jazz Chisholm to second base, his original position that he came up as. He came up as a second baseman. I know he was a shortstop, but they converted him into a second baseman. And when it comes to third base, I think it's going to come down to Bregman and Nolan Arenado. If not those two, the Yankees will go into spring training with DJ LeMahieu and Oswaldo Cabrera rolling the dice to see who can win the job. And if it's the third option, I think that's a bad offseason, especially after losing Juan Soto to the New York Mets. You have to go into spring training with an actual 26-man roster, right? No holes. No, let's see what happens. Roll the dice. Maybe a rookie could win the position. No, you have to go into the season with a legit third baseman.
Okay, Hector, but let me ask you this question since you just
Go
said
ahead.
that. If the Yankees get Roki Sasaki and they go in without knowing who the third baseman is, either DJ or Oswaldo, which means Oswaldo, I will not listen to anything else, okay? But if they say DJ or Oswaldo, but we get Roki Sasaki, how's that offseason?
If you get Roki Sasaki and Grace, I love the fun. I love the question. Trust me, I love it. Grace is playing 3-dimensional chess here. If you get Roki Sasaki and you add him to the rotation, and you sit on the fact that you have now 2 trade pieces and Luis Hill and Clark Smith, and you don't trade either one of them to improve your third base position, you are a failure as a GM.
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry. If you are able to get Roki Sasaki, you automatically have 2 guaranteed trade pieces that teams will want. Both guys are young. Both guys are on team control. And one of the guys just won the AL Rookie of the Year. If you're able to get Roki Sasaki and your starting rotation 1 through 4 is Cole, is Free, Rodon, and then Roki Sasaki, and then you got to choose either Clark Smith or Luis Hill as your 5th starter, you could trade one of them away. You still have Will Warren who could come up. You still have Chase Hampton who could come up as well. So I feel I do like the scenario of them getting Roki Sasaki, but if you get Roki and then you just sit on your hands with two legit trade pieces and don't upgrade your situation at third base, I think you're a failure as a GM. And
so what I'm hearing is is that Roki is the linchpin of this offseason. If Roki then trade and upgrade third base, if not Roki, then you know what I mean? So yeah. It's kind of like hinging on Roki Sasaki and what he's gonna do, and the odds aren't looking good for us to get him. Although so you're telling me there's a chance.
Yo, Guillermo, my fault, bro. I just saw your DM because he messaged in the chat. Answer your damn DMs. My fault, bro. I just sent you my phone number. I have like a shit. Grace can tell you all the DMs and notifications I get on my phone. So I do apologize 100%. if Grace was with me at the Winter meeting. She was like, I really didn't think that was real.
100%. 100%.
I want to shout out the chat.
I just texted you, Hector. I'm sitting across from Hector at a table. I am physically sitting across from Hector, and I'm like, I texted you, and he goes, oh, hold on. Scroll. Oh, it's way down here. I'm like, what?
I'm sorry.
I just texted you 2 minutes ago.
Oh my God. I want to shout out the chat. We're going to do one more roll call before we get ready. I was with Eddie today. When I was with Eddie, I was walking up a hill and I almost passed out because I'm trying to talk while we're tracking up a hill. Thank you, Eddie, for verifying it as well. Shout out to my guy, Eddie Snaps. He linked up with me. Shout out to Eddie. We're going to be doing a lot of work together. Dope photographer as well. Make sure you guys follow Eddie on all social media platforms. Shout out to my guy, Mark T. Maker in the building. Salute. Waiting for this guy is foolish. I think he's talking about Roki. And I think that everybody is waiting on the Roki Sasaki. I think the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes are more eyes than the Yamamoto ones were, because the Yamamoto, it happened like that in the middle of November. Like it happened. I mean, it happened before the new year was even here. With Roki, they have to wait till after the new year, after January 15th, for the new international marketing pool money, with people getting more money to add into it. So if Roki is going to take around like January 15th through the 20th, it will be done within that week. Once the 15th happens, within the next 7 days, it'll be announced where he signs.
I think they add a reliever before the Roki thing. I don't think they're not going to do anything until Roki signs, but I do think they're going to wait on some possible big moves. And, you know, like you said, a lot of teams are waiting, but I do think they probably add either, you know, Tim Hill or some left-handed reliever, probably even before Sasaki signs.
I gotta agree. I think if they do add someone, it's not going to be a big name. Like it's not going to be, oh my God, we got to run and do it live. I don't think I don't think it'll be like that.
Yeah.
It'll be a minor league move or a guy on invite to spring training. I think it will be like, or bringing back Tim Hill, like you said as well. I think it'll be one of those moves, nothing too crazy or too significant. Again, guys, we got over 200 people in the building rocking out with us. Over 115 people still on YouTube. We appreciate all of you guys. When it comes to our subscribers, we're at 4,693. We are 7 subscribers away from 4,700. So help us out. Just to let you guys know, for next year, Uptown Sports TV, when it comes to our Yankee coverage, when it comes to our Knicks coverage, when it comes to all the other shows on the channel, we are going to be bringing you more content, and we are going to be bringing you better content, right? Next year, Uptown Sports TV.
I'm fired.
When the major league season comes back, a lot of our pregame and a lot of our Yankees watch-alongs will be on Twitch, right? That's what we're going to be introducing in 2025. The regular YouTube stuff will still be here. Yankees Morning Brew is not going anywhere on YouTube, but when it comes to our pregame stuff, when it comes to our watch-along stuff, all of that will be happening on Twitch, just because Twitch is a lot more user-friendly when it comes to what we can show and not get hit with like copyrights and stuff like that, right? So, for instance, if Grace and I are doing a watch party, right? Yes, we're doing a watch along, watching the Yankee game, but we'll have the game playing on the screen. You can only do that on Twitch. You can't do that on YouTube. So that's what's going to be in the lines for 2025. So be on the lookout. Grace, any New Year's resolutions, any New Year's wishes you have for the chat? Anything new before we go?
Oh my gosh, I don't know what my New Year's resolution is yet. I haven't decided, but I will. I'm big on New Year's, big on New Year's resolutions. I usually do like a word for the year, to try to kind of remember and kind of live by, whether it's joy or gratitude or whatever it is for that year. But I want to say this. We're not done. Okay, we're not done. We are over the luxury tax. We're at 302 million. Okay.
It's not my money. I don't care.
That's fine, but I'm just saying, don't say hell is cheap. Okay. And not you, Hector, just the ether. Okay. Right field. I'm talking about defense now. Right field is better. We went from Soto to Judge. Defense, Soto to Judge. Better. Center field. We're going to talk about that right now. Jason Dominguez is going to be fine, y'all. I think Jason Dominguez is going to have an incredible breakout year. He is my pick. He is going to be amazing. Yeah. Everything. Now, left field, we went from Verdugo to Bellinger. That's better. First base, we went from Rizzo to Goldschmidt. That's better. Second base, we went from Torres to Chisholm. That's better. Went from shortstop is the same, and it's great. Catcher is Trevino to Wells, and that's better. So our pitching staff is better. Our bullpen is better. Yep. We have made so many improvements. Okay. Agreed. We have added a ton of money. We are over the top, luxury. We're all over the Cohen tax again, and we're not done yet. I believe they will try to move Stroman. I believe they still will try to improve somewhere on third base and the offense. So hang tight. It's not even January yet. We're still in 2024, but we are making moves. It's a great time to be a Yankees fan. Yeah. And I think also, I want to say this real quick. Aaron Judge now has something to prove in the postseason. And I would put my money on Aaron Judge any day of the week. If we can get him back to the postseason, I believe this man wants to absolutely go off and be the hero that he is in the regular season every year. Yeah. So don't give up. Hang in there, buy your Yankees merch, and everything's good.
Listen, one thing I'm going to say is that when it comes to the New York Yankees for 2025, when it comes to our coverage of the New York Yankees, it's going to be a fun season this year, right? We're going to have a lot of different stuff, like I said, when it comes to our shows, when it comes to our segments. Yankees Morning Brew will still be Yankees Morning Brew, the #1 Yankee show on this channel, right? Especially in the morning time. So that's not going nowhere. But Grace and I are going to kill it next year when it comes to our Yankees watch-alongs and when it comes to our Yankees pregame. We're going to kill it. Right, Grace has done an amazing job when it comes to her short videos during the off season. Grace's shorts have done amazing. Each one of them are over 1,000 views on the channel. If you guys haven't watched them, make sure you watch them and make sure you like them. Right, anytime I'm out and about and people always bring up the live stream, they always talk about how great my co-host Grace Monroe is. I'm putting her on the spot right now because she deserves these flowers. Going into 2025, everybody that's there, everybody that's in the chat, just know we love you guys, right? We love your support. We love that the fact that you guys have been rocking out with us since day one. In the summertime, we had some changes here. We went through a whole rebrand and stuff like that. But guess what? You dust yourself off and you just come right back, and you come back as strong as you ever will. And that's what this channel did. We came back stronger. So shout out to Grace. I love you so much. Shout out to Damien. He couldn't be here, but I know Damien will be feeling the same way. The two Knicks ladies, Nikki and Carla for Knicks and Fuego. Shout out to them. They're amazing. The pop-off guys on Friday, they're going to have former NBA player Joe Smith on next Friday. Make sure you guys tune in. And also shout out to the guys from the Jet Set podcast. They done an amazing job. And all you guys in the chat, I want to shout out my guy, Mark Teammaker. Love you both. Happy New Year. Mark, just know I love you. Just so you guys know, when this channel was first like coming up and I was trying to figure out like certain formulas when it comes to the thumbnail and when it comes to the title of the videos. Mark Teammaker is somebody that always gave me positive feedback and always gave me great feedback. And every time he told me, he was like, Hector, I just want you to know that I want to see you guys win. Mark, I still remember that message. Just know that I love you, my guy. Appreciate you. Big time Lou in the chat. Happy New Year. Appreciate you. Yudo Yosef, my guy Yudo. Appreciate you, Yudo. Of course, Razil the Great. Double A, Theo Double A. How can we not say salute to Theo Double A? I love Double A so much. My brother Ghost, Ghost, I don't even have to say any words, bro. You already know how I feel towards you. My guy Ace, great that I've been able to meet with Ace. You know, I've been following Ace for a while. Finally was able to do a live stream with him. I look forward to doing many more live streams with my guy Ace in the future, as well as our brother Jason from 161 River Ave. That was our guy. Same thing with Joe from The Shift. Tony 23, appreciate you. Blaze 445, appreciate you. My beautiful girlfriend Alex Campos, look at that smile, look at that hair. I love her so much. Appreciate you. Eddie Snaps was in the building. Alex Almonte, Chris Perez, Joseph was in the building. Jonathan, appreciate you. Was sitting on 73 likes, and we got 100 people in the building. So smack that like button as we say our goodbyes. Our guy Joey G is in the building. Guillermo from Legion of Knicks podcast. Shout out to Guillermo. And if I missed anyone, Mac Miles, appreciate you. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Always stay positive. Just know when things are rough, when things aren't going right, everything happens for a reason. The creator, our ancestors, whatever you believe in, is there's somebody in the background, there's somebody backstage pulling the strings for you, trying to make sure, conspiring in your favor. Just always know that somebody is always in the background rooting for you. This Sunday, you know, I always got to thank my blessings. This Sunday, I will be with Joshua Palacio, the right fielder from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He has a baseball camp in Lincoln High School in Brooklyn. This is full circle to me. I grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I grew up as a young snot-nosed kid going to Lincoln High School with my friends to go see Sebastian Telfair play when he was in high school. I remember going to see Lance Stevenson when he was in Lincoln High School. So this is a full circle moment to me. I just want to take some time and just say that. Appreciate all you guys. Grace, I love you so much.
Love you.
I love you. I love your husband. I look forward to killing it as well. Shout out to TC Stills. Shout out to everybody who's been a contributor to this channel. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And until next time, I'm Hector.
I'm Grace Monroe.
Make sure you guys drink some water, say something positive, and until the new year, deuces. We'll be back.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.